Super Rugby, round number 15, folks. We got 2 rounds to go. The race for those top 6 playoff spots could well be decided this week, to be fair. And there's still some spots up for grabs, potentially in that top 3 if the Crusaders can close the gap on the Blues. We'll go through the games, the squads, some stats, predictions. You guys can let us know your thoughts. The Blues, thank goodness, are on the bye. We need a break. Been thumped our last 2 games, so as a Blues fan, yep, the boys can sit for a week, and we will see how they go in that final round. The opening game looks to be the game of the week. 4th place Crusaders up against 2nd place Chiefs. As I said, Crusaders down in that new stadium of theirs, sold out once again. They haven't been beaten at that new stadium yet. They'll want to hold that record as long as they can, and they'll want to catch the Blues. They can close the gap. There's 6 points between the Blues and the Crusaders right now. Crusaders win this one, they can get right in behind the Blues, and the Blues have got the Chiefs in the final week away. So there's still hope for the Crusaders to qualify as a top qualifying side. The Chiefs just need to try and keep the Hurricanes honest, don't they? If they can get a win. Otherwise, the Hurricanes will be kind of clear away in that top spot. For the Crusaders, they got some injuries up front. There's no Bell, there's no Brewer, Sykes Martin, Williams, etc. Their front rower injury list is long, but they are bolstered by the return of Will Jordan and Che Fihaki at fullback and right wing respectively. The forward pack is looking pretty stable. Lester Fainganuku continues on the flank, even though he likely switches to the backs later on in the game. Dude won 2 turnovers and had 15 tackles against the Blues, which was the Crusaders' top equal tackler. So the guy is putting in a shift. They got a potential debutant on the bench in number 19 jumper Liam Jack. So congrats to him if he gets on. For the Chiefs, they got more injuries in the backs than the forwards, you would say. There's no Fuketi. He lasted a week on his return. There's no DMAC after that nasty concussion of his. There's no Narawa, no Nasaturo, Carter. All these guys are still out. So both sides' depth is getting a wee bit tested, but they got Quintupaya back after sitting last week. So that's some good news in the number 12 jersey for them. Josh Lord is also back starting. Who do you reckon the Chiefs' top scorer is? It's bloody Sambasoni Tokiaho. He's the 3rd top try scorer of Super Rugby. He's got 9 tries, so he'll be looking to extend that. Other forward changes, Samapini Finau is up from the bench to start at blindside this week. And then Isaac Hutchinson at fullback with no DMAC out, and Josh Jacob continuing at 10. Hutchinson's looked all right at 15, I reckon. He's a bit of a danger man. So, yeah, interesting game. As I said, top of the table clash. Can the Chiefs be the first team to knock over the Crusaders down there? I don't know. It's going to be tough because you've got a difference in prediction between the bookies and the algorithm. Rugby Forecast got the Crusaders by 2 at home, but the bookies have got the Chiefs by 1 away. So this is on a real knife edge, that game. Second game, Waratahs against the Brumbies. The Waratahs are in must-win territory, and if they win, it helps keep the chasing pack in the race because the Brumbies are not secure yet. So the Waratahs and essentially Moana are the teams that the chasing pack will be rooting for. Waratahs have still got their destiny in that regard kind of in their own hands, but they need to deny the Brumbies points, yeah. They need to channel that energy they had over in Fiji last week, because the Waratahs were playing like a dog's breakfast in recent weeks. Then they suddenly showed up in Fiji, put in a really good shift. They need that. And you can tell Dan McKellar, their coach, is thinking the same thing because he's not changed the team at all, barring the number 23 jumper Joey Walton's come in. Everyone else is the same. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sauli is still out, unfortunately. Samu's out. Fainga'a's out. Jake Gordon is ill. But, yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Angus Scott Young at number 8 last week was tackling the house down, scored a try. He'll be looking to do similar. Sid Harvey's been this, rookie star out on the wing, kicking the goals. He'll be looking to do more of that. And then Moana at hooker scored 2 tries last week. He is about as dynamic as they get. So he'll be looking to cause some havoc if he can get himself into any kind of space. For the Brumbies, they have tinkered a little bit. Remember, they were on the bye last week, so they should be fresh. Billy Pollard is up from the bench to start. Likewise, Caden Neville. So a little bit of kind of tinkering there without being wholesale changes. I think they'll want a bit more from Rob Valentini. And I do think they're still missing a bit of punch since Charlie Cale's injury. Like, Charlie Cale was scoring tries, busting tackles. They've still got, like, Rob Valentini doing a heap of work. Like, he was, how many carries in the last game? 14? How many defenders beaten? Zip. how many run meters? 33, like a couple of meters a carry. They need that bit more punch. I feel like Kale is the key man missing, and he is still out, unfortunately. If he gets back, the Hurricanes, the Brumbies look a much better side. But they've still got a good team, man. I'm not writing these guys off. Pritchard is going to get a start at 13, so I'm happy for him. Both the Pritchard boys look good, the one for the Reds as well. But Caden's going to get a crack at 13, so pleased for him. Ryan Lonergan still captains at 9. He'll be kicking the goals. And then Corey Toole's been right up there in terms of his offensive run meters. So, yeah, should be a cracking game. The Brumbies are favourites with the bookies by 4. But interestingly, once again, the Rugby Forecast algorithm flips it on its head and says, no, that the Waratahs are favourites, but only by 1. So both those games on the Friday could potentially be really good matchups. Less so the Saturday games, which are predicted to be a bit more predictable. Moana Pasifika up against the Reds. The Reds need to bank some points. The Reds are in 6th. If they bank the expected points that everybody except the Drua in the opening game of the season have banked, then the Reds are basically going to be all right, I think. They're on, what, like 26 points? Yeah, the Reds just need to bank these points, get themselves clear. But everybody else, the Waratahs, the Force, I guess even the Drua, will be cheering on Moana to at least put a spanner in the works and keep things interesting into that final week. Moana have been sitting on the bye. They got hammered the last time they played by the Hurricanes. Everyone's been getting hammered by the Hurricanes, so there's no real shame in that. But there's been some standouts, man. Stanley at hooker, he's still going on. He's been good. Miracle Failangi still captains the side. He's been putting in a heap of tackles. They got Pellegrini back at 10 this week. That's a bit of good news. They can shift Havili back to fullbacks. They've got the double playmakers thing going on. They need Tupo Tailoa to get some big carries up the guts from number 8. But yeah, still no Tavita Offa, who look like their danger man. There's still no like the big name guys like Julian Savia and Nani Lamape still missing with injury. But yeah, Moana haven't picked up any points since the first week of the comp. The Reds, they rested their guys. Remember when they went over to the Force last week? I guess they figured the trip to Perth and then all the way back over here to New Zealand would be a bit much for some of the big guns. So some of them are back. Josh Canham, Lukan Salakaia-Loto, Fraser McCright, Filipa Dalgunu, Josh Fluke. All these guys are back into the 23. And we get our first game of the season for Tate McDermott at 9. The Wallaby has been injured all season. They sent him to play club rugby last week. So fingers crossed with those minutes under his belt, he's a bit sharper. Him and Carter Gordon will be pulling the strings at 9 and 10. Very much looking forward to see how they go. And Jock Campbell, I still swear, has just been flying under the radar a wee bit. He's the second overall guy for run meters in this competition behind Finninganofo for the Hurricanes, who's been incredible as the top try scorer, top clean break guy. Like, he's just been another level from everybody else. But Jock Campbell's just sneakily there, second place top Aussie for run meters. So they can cause some havoc. They are still without some of their backs like Liner and McLaughlin Phillips and Paisami and whatnot on the injury list. But yeah, Reds are favourites. Get those bankable points. 17 say the bookies and 18 says the algo. They're pretty much on the same page for the early Saturday game. Then Hurricanes, Highlanders. The Highlanders, this is their last game of the season because they got the bye in the final round. They need to win, and even that's probably not going to be enough. Winning away in Wellington seems more than a bridge too far. It's a few bridges too far, but they'll give it a crack. Last game of the season. The Hurricanes need to win and, try to secure that top spot. See what happens with the Chiefs game first. I suppose pressure's off if the Chiefs get rolled by the Crusaders. For the Hurricanes, remember they've been doing a bit of the rest and rotation themselves. This week, Finninganofo, Harkin, Proctor, and Numia all on the rest list for the Hurricanes. So they've got that luxury to be able to do that with the position they've put themselves in. They've still got no Roygaard and Lomax who are on the injury list, but I think they're due back very soon. So it'll be good timing in terms of making a run to go deep into those playoffs as your top qualifier in all likelihood. Morby shifts to fullback this week. He's back into the 23. He's got 12 tries this competition. He's only behind Finninganofo. Might be a good shout for fantasy. Punivai, don't take any advice from me, but fantasy team's terrible. But Punivai's on the right wing. And the Hollows on the left, so they've got a really sexy attacking back 3. Balin Sullivan's going to shift to 13 with the absence of Proctor. Devin Flanders is on number 6 jersey this week. Yosse's up to number 8 from the bench. And Lawaki is going to get a start at loosehead Wakalia Were in the locks. So they've brought in capable replacements for all the guys being rested. Warner Durns has been a bit of a standout. Scored another bloody charge down try last week, didn't he? So yeah, even Even Hanari set up 3 tries last week at number 9 for the Canes. So it's been a good time to be a Canes fan, I would say. For the Highlanders, obviously Caleb Tangitau's injury is devastating. Also for his potential All Blacks chances with his Achilles, he is out for an extended period. And these are the guys that are going to have to do a job. TK Howden's back. That's good news. He's a tackle machine, top tackler in Super Rugby. John Nadek is back from a suspension at 13. Tito Harris is at 14 to replace Tangitau. And then Timothy Tavatavanawai definitely deserves a shout out because he's sitting at 79 busted tackles this Super Rugby season. 79. How many do you reckon the next best guy has? It's not in the 70s. It's not even in the 60s. It's barely in the 50s. Whainganuku for the Crusaders has 51. Tavatavanawai 79 is on another level from everybody else. That is just a unique selling point. Unbelievable. So he'll be need to doing more of that. Busting tackles, offloading, doing what he does best to have any kind of chance, but they are not given nothing against the top side away from home. 21 points to the bookies, and the Algos is 30. Landers predicted to get a hiding in their final game. For the final game of this week, it is the Force up against the Drua. Force still mathematically alive. I think the Drua are mathematically alive as well. But these sides really need the Reds or Brumbies to drop some points. And they need to win all their remaining games. The Force are home for their last 2 weeks. I think it's Drua this week and Tars next week. So winnable games. It'd be a hell of a story to see the Force somehow make it. They have the most carries of any team in Super Rugby. I love the Force. Like direct style of play. Carlo Tizzano, 2 tries last week, tackling the house down. The guy is a machine. Dylan Peach has been playing like a man possessed with his carries and his busted tackles. These guys are still in. The side is very stable from the one which played last week against the Reds and got that win. Bailey Kunzel is in at 13 for George Bridge. That is one change. They've still got Zach Lomax here. They'll be looking to kick him some high balls because of his aerial ability. But yeah, the squad is very, very stable. Donaldson's still on the injury list with that quad injury, but he's due back soon. But yeah, they need a win. They absolutely need a win. Ideally, they get a bonus point, but the Force aren't really a team at the moment putting 3 or more tries ahead of their opponent. But we'll see. The Drua, they beat the Force last time they played, but it was a close run thing over in Fiji. This time they've got to travel. The Drua don't travel that well, but they have got to win in Australia this season when they beat the Brumbies earlier in the year. Tuni is in at loose head. Rakuro is in on the right wing. They've had a bit of trouble with a lack of injury, a lack of fit wingers. Lamani's finally not having to play wing this week, so they got specialist wingers. Valetini's going to run the show at 10. And Tui Tubo is in at 13. I think he's only played like 2 or 3 games this year. So seems like they're doing a bit of experimentation before the end of the season because the injury list didn't look that long. Salawa was potentially the man of their performance, which was not a great performance against the Waratahs last week over in Fiji. So they'll be needing him to tackle the house down and do more of that ball-carrying stuff again. And Vakatawa just quietly has been busting a few tackles. So he's a relatively cheap option in fantasy for a number 12 if you're running out of cash, but doesn't usually happen with the way the game is set up. The Force are favourites, 14 points, say the bookies. But Force games aren't usually that emphatic. The Algo's got it a bit closer, saying by 9. So there you go, folks. Super Rugby round preview for round 15. Today would have been my dad's 76th birthday. So I will say happy birthday to the old boy. Hopefully he's watching the game from somewhere upstairs. We miss him dearly. And yeah, probably a good thing for his birthday that the Blues, our team, as I said, are not playing because we've not been in great form. But anyway, hope you guys are all good. Subscribe to the channel for some more Super Rugby chat. Who do you reckon's going to stand out this week? Take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See ya.